A portion of today's video is sponsored by Parade. Hello, my dudes. Today, I want to talk about personal style. And before I even begin, I am not a fashion girly, okay? I consider myself to be a representative of the normies in this conversation. And as usual, I just love paying attention to the discourse of it all. I've actually been trying to write this video since last summer, and I find that it's actually deceptively difficult to nail down this topic. I keep thinking if I give myself more time, I will figure out my personal style, and spoiler, I have not. I have been personally invested in all of these questions, like, do I have to have clear and well-defined aesthetics? Should everything I wear feel like me? What core am I? Am I even dressing for myself, or am I just dressing based on how I want to be perceived? I don't know. Especially now that I'm pregnant, I now cannot wear 99% of my wardrobe. I've had to buy a lot of new basics just to be able to have literally anything to wear. And so now more than ever, really, I'm feeling more disconnected from my sense of style, and I don't feel like I'm dressing like myself. And it's a weird, like, frustrating, kind of sad place to be in. Hence why I had to return to this topic, and let's just chat it through today. I don't know. I have made quite a few videos over the years related to style and trying to figure out what the hell I should wear. I've talked about the kibby body system. Somehow that always comes back up. I'm like, yeah, well, it's because I'm a soft classic. I also did a video that dove a little bit deeper into the color seasons theory, and some elements of that have stuck with me, but nothing has solved my problem. Nothing has been able to tell me what my personal style is. Shocker. Devastatingly, I actually have to figure this out myself. And that is the hard part. I'm not even joking. I'm serious. I wish someone could just tell me. So first of all, I think it is obligatory to mention that, of course, we are all subject to trends and various forces that influence us. As much as I like to think I am an individual, not so much, you know?
People have not really had personal style throughout much of history. They were following trends that were set by brands, by the media, by celebrity culture. In the late 2000s, all my friends and I, we were wearing those like camisoles layered on camisoles. We were wearing skinny jeans inside boots.
Perhaps the idea of being so obsessed with having your own personal style is a relatively new concept to begin with. Is it even possible to have it? Is it possible to separate ourselves from these forces and influences that can impact what we end up wearing and buying? So first I want to start with the question, have TikTok, microtrends, and overconsumption ruined personal style? There's been so much conversation about these kind of issues over the last few years, and I do think all of those components play a role.
I think because youth culture is now largely online, we keep simulating styles of people and places in an attempt to align with what feels authentic to ourselves or to the time that we're in. And I think it inevitably becomes a chicken or the egg situation. Like, are you using visual references to get closer to your authentic self, or are you confusing your personal taste with an algorithmic preference?
I love that question, and honestly, it is really difficult to be able to tell which came first, or to be able to separate these things from each other. The role of algorithms in this conversation is really interesting to me. On TikTok and online in general, we see, these elements of the capitalistic trend cycle.
Full offense, but why are we all dressing the exact same? I just saw a TikTok today that said, I really hope tankinis don't really come back in style, or else I'll have to throw away all of my new bikinis.
What are we wearing? What's in? What's out? You should buy Sambas. They're the best shoe. They're timeless. They're classic. And 5 minutes later, you're still wearing Sambas. That's embarrassing.
If you come on this app to make a fashion opinions video and it's just you being a dick to people who don't dress the way you do, I immediately know you have no style. You may know what's trending, because here's the thing. If you actually did have style, personal style, then you would know the work that it takes to find it. So don't let those videos shake your confidence if someone starts tearing down an outfit you feel really comfortable in. And just know they're trying to pass on a capitalistic trend cycle to you, not actual style advice.
I think this is where the distinction between just like following trends or following what is popular versus finding your own style comes in. Of course, you can listen to any number of commentators tell you what they think is good or bad or in or out, but that's not personal style.
And in the past, I have turned to girls I've really looked up to and really admired for kind of guidance, which I think can certainly be helpful for like a reset or a jump start. Part of the challenge is to use socials and Pinterest really sparingly for outfit inspiration. because I think sometimes using other people as a crutch can lead to imitation rather than inspiration. I've certainly fallen into that trap before.
But before we continue, this portion of today's video is sponsored by Parade. With pregnancy, my body is constantly changing and I've been feeling kind of tired or a little bit uncomfortable most of the time. But thanks to Parade, I know that at the very least, my bras and underwear will be comfy. They look and feel great, which definitely helps give me a little confidence boost when I'm getting dressed. So I want to highlight some of my recent go-to pieces. This is the Dream Fit Triangle Bralette in the color Peach Fuzz. The material is Replay, which is made from recycled scraps that would usually go to waste, and now it's been turned into this buttery soft fabric. As I've mentioned before, I'm a huge fan of these triangle bralettes and I wear them pretty much every day. I got this bralette in a Support Plus size for the first time. These sizes are designed for bigger boobs, so they have wider straps and an extra hook and eye, more support all around. And here is a Replay thong in the color Hot Honey. Same soft fabric. These are very smooth on the body and they don't roll down or dig in, which again is very important to me, especially right now. As you can see, Parade has great options whether you're looking for neutrals, basics, or pieces that are a little bit more funky, some statement pieces. They actually have some new collections right now, such as Pasta Party, obviously a favorite. I always love checking out their new print options, like these strawberries or Dinner Party. These are just so cute and fun, and they make getting dressed more enjoyable. So Parade has a summer sale going on right now until July 5th. I highly recommend checking it out if you're in the market for any new bras or underwear. And P.S. they also have really great apparel. I have been like living in these waffle knit pants. They're so comfortable. If there's a special print that caught your eye, don't miss out. You can use my link and code FERG50 to get 50% off site-wide. So in addition to these trend reporters and Pinterest, we also have fashion influencers of all kinds, from the ones who are deeply knowledgeable and passionate about fashion to those just naturally cool people who you want to emulate, and then the types who simply fit the standards of beauty and are automatically regarded as fashionable no matter what they actually wear.
Is it a fit or is she just skinny? I'll tell you a question you should actually be fucking asking. Does this person have a point of view? There are so many beautiful people on social media who look incredible and their outfits have nothing to say. And some of the people that y'all laud as fashion creators are celebrated for looking good in clothes, but not for what they actually do, because they don't know how to put an outfit together. All they know how to do is parrot Pinterest. And I love hot people, don't get me wrong, but being hot doesn't make you good at fashion. Having a point of view does.
For those of us without a strong sense of style, it gets confusing. Who or what should we pay attention to? And this is where I think it's important to make the distinction between like a Mandy Lee type, who's a professional trend forecaster, and people who position themselves as such, but are really just trying to sell you stuff on like TikTok Shop or LTK. And this brings up the issue of credibility in the fashion space, and I'm definitely not saying that we should gatekeep who to trust or that regular people can't be influential or helpful. But when someone is just trying to sell you shit over and over, telling me this t-shirt will change my life, I will see them as a less reliable narrator. And as I mentioned in my video about affiliate culture, that's not to say that I think using links or doing ads is evil. Clearly not. This is my livelihood as well. But a clearly disclosed ad is very different from presenting something as a fully organic recommendation from a friend. Overall, I think the fashion side of the internet can be so overwhelming because of the sheer number of differing opinions and things being marketed to us from every direction. No wonder we have major decision fatigue. And for a little side tangent, have you guys seen the girl who's been shopping for a black tie wedding guest dress? I think it's so fascinating.
I'm going to a black tie wedding and I don't know what to wear. This is my first option. I feel like it looks really cheap. I also don't even know if it's considered black tie.
Sadie checked some local stores, the mall, and then she ended up buying 5 dresses from TikTok Shop. And as they're coming in, surprise, surprise, they were all pretty cheap, not great quality, and not the standard that she needed for a black tie event. Anyway, her search for the perfect dress has become a whole saga. She kept shopping at different places, buying a lot more dresses. I think she's purchased over like 20 dresses at this point, obviously planning on returning most of those. But I just think this really spoke to the common deceptions of TikTok Shop. There are just so many stolen or fake product photos, first of all, stolen designs, and ultimately, yeah, if something claims to be super nice quality yet is suspiciously cheap, it is too good to be true. This reminds me of the Sophia Nygaard video that she made, like investigating dupes or knockoffs. But still, the low prices and the ease of purchasing on TikTok Shop continues to suck people in, and it can be a trap. Anyway, though these lifestyle and fashion influencers are supposed to help us, guide us, often we only end up buying and wasting more and not getting any closer to figuring out our own tastes.
Personal style is a muscle. You cannot think and screenshot your random personal style, and I promise you that whatever you have in your cart right now that you're telling yourself is going to make your perfect curated wardrobe that you never need to buy anything for again and fix all your problems, it's not going to do it. I'm sorry.
I can absolutely relate to the idea of thinking that if I just get that next piece, if I just get a handful of items that'll complete my wardrobe, then I will succeed in having my personal style. And it's like, of course that's not going to happen. But even when you're aware of it, it's way too easy to get tricked into the consumerist trap of like, I think when I have those jeans, I'll be set. Those shoes really will change it all for me. It can definitely feel like the internet has the potential to bring us closer to our personal style as opposed to traditional media because algorithms are literally for you. Our feeds inherently feel more personal. Social platforms generally know what we like and they will lead us to other things that people like us like. Have you ever checked out the profile that like Facebook or Gmail, Google have on you as a user? It's scary and very accurate. So we get fed into this ecosystem that can pretty accurately predict and expand our interests, tastes, music, style based on things that we've previously liked. And that brings us to the core-ification of everything. As I mentioned in my home renovation video recently, I think many of us feel compelled, because of the internet, to conform to specific aesthetics in every area of our lives, whether that's clothing or home decor. And ideally, these aesthetics would all be cohesive. Your personal brand will be tied together with a neat little bow. But yeah, sometimes being online makes you lose your mind, first of all.
Hi, besties. I'm in my Barber Girl era serving Barbie core. Look at this dress. I am serving eclectic grey dan energy today. Eclectic grey dan aesthetic. Move over, eclectic grandpa. I am starting that trend, giving trendsetter core, giving influencer coded.
Say goodbye to eclectic grandpa. TikTok's newest aesthetic is bewildered mailman. Dark academia is out. Evil denim is in. In 2024, we're serving normcore pagliacci.
We constantly have all of these new terms and ideas thrown at us, and the ridiculous pace of trends and labels and cores just... it can get your head spinning.
People of the internet, I'm afraid we may have lost the plot. However, I do love to dress like a grandpa. I love to dress like my grandpa, actually.
An eclectic grandpa is someone with actual personal tastes and preferences, is comfortable but has their own opinions, and has worn their clothes for decades. I can't think of anything better to sum up our current personal style epidemic than this new trend for 2024. We want nothing more than to emulate someone who has lived an entire life developing personal style.
First of all, can I say I love when eclectic grandpa was a thing, but then everyone was calling it electric grandpa, and I don't know if that was an accident or...
2024 is all about the electric grandpa.
But imagining people genuinely call themselves electric grandpa. I'm always like, again, is this a media literacy question or is this a meme that I don't understand?
What I think people are actually annoyed about is the idea that people are conflating what they wear with a certain personality type. You don't just wear Uggs anymore because they're trendy. It's like Uggs are so coquette, off-duty ballerina, Russian winter girl core. And I think those kind of labelings are what annoy people, not the fact that like a lot of mostly women are choosing to wear Ugg boots.
Anyway, as funny and silly as these can be, what is the point of core-ifying? What is the appeal? Obviously, many of us desire finding a label that is accurate and fitting or an aesthetic that we can pursue. But these labels often feel shallow, and that's why so many people dislike them. Developing personal style takes work and time, but adopting a core kind of feels like a shortcut, an easier, quicker way to fast track yourself into style that you like. This passage from Jenny Odell's How to Do Nothing is basically about how robotic and lifeless it can feel to fully succumb to these these algorithmic leads. She wrote, "At its most successful, an algorithmic honing in would seem to incrementally entomb me as an ever more stable image of what I like and why. When the language of advertising and personal branding enjoins you to be yourself, what it really means is be more yourself, where yourself is a consistent and recognizable pattern of habits, desires, and drives that can be more easily advertised to and appropriated. A personal brand is a reliable, unchanging pattern of snap judgments. I like this, and I don't like this, with little room for ambiguity or contradiction." Undoubtedly, a major component of style in this conversation is perception. How we dress affects how we are perceived by others, how we're seen, what we signal to the outside world. The issue of perception involves individuality, class, subcultures. For any style aesthetics associated with a subculture, obviously that image implies certain beliefs, histories, politics that come along with that group. And again, especially with the disconnecting, fractured nature of the internet, it is a lot easier to adopt the aesthetics first, or even solely. You get the outer shell, but not necessarily the inner substance. And this can be confusing to people, especially those who exist in these subcultures. Do you actually align yourself with the community, or are you just trying on the style? Some people have argued that they have the right to wear whatever they want and that it doesn't mean anything. But it really is impossible to disconnect certain aesthetics from where they came from. To pretend as if these styles simply came out of nowhere, they just exist in a vacuum, just isn't accurate, and it also does a disservice to the people who created that subculture and the meaning behind that.
Luxury fashion has a tendency to extort marginalized communities' pain in order to make their own statement of being edgy or different. And once that identity has been co-opted, it then becomes the mainstream, especially with the internet these days. The way in which luxury consumers can try on identities at such a rapid succession really sort of eliminates what the fashion of these subcultures was meant to begin with. It was a form of communication for people. It was a lived experience.
Another element of perception and style is, again, the desire to be in the in-group.
I understand why people dress in these ways. I get the desire for social belonging that comes with fashion and personal style, and I don't look down upon people who participate in fashion in those ways.
So this is where the question comes in. If you are embodying a certain aesthetic, are you living that life? Or are you just purchasing that style?
So to join those sort of in-groups, they try to buy the most recognizable items because in that recognition comes social capital. One thing that you should be always asking yourself is, am I only buying this for the sake of clout? Am I getting this for the sake of social capital? Am I getting this so I can impress a bunch of people online?
I do think there's a distinction to be made between, say, enjoying ballerina core and wearing the aesthetic of a subculture that does come from a marginalized community. Do you know what I mean? And maybe the ballerinas in the chat might have a different take on this, but I do think there's a slight difference between a hobby or activity-based aesthetic and more of a lifestyle, political, belief-based aesthetic.
A lot of people don't have hobbies or interests anymore because things are expensive. So instead, they invest in an aesthetic, a style aesthetic that embodies the type of hobbies and interests that they themselves would like to have or to be a part of.
Now, this is really interesting because initially I would say that I was more against the idea of people just trying on an aesthetic of a hobby or something that they don't participate in. I don't think it's harmful. Again, if you want to look like a ballerina or a horse girl or whatever other hobby, cool. But initially I was like, if you are drawn to that, doesn't that mean you want to do the thing? So why don't you just do the thing? And then you'll have more harmony between the style that you like. It matches the interests that you have. You're living the life, and that will make you feel more fulfilled, right? But Mina's point here is so important because yes, of course, people can't just go and pick up whatever hobbies that they're interested in. One, because things are expensive. Two, because time is money. A lot of people don't have time or money.
Because at the end of the day, fashion has always been tied to identity and to community. And so it makes total sense to me that people are looking to dress in a certain way, not necessarily because they're so obsessed with having a personal style or with creating fashionable outfits, but more because they're looking for a community of people to belong with.
I think this is definitely true. Many of us feel drawn to people who look the sort of style that we want to emulate, or maybe we feel more comfortable. We can recognize people from afar and say, okay, again, based on the implications of that style, that aesthetic, I feel like I can be safe or comfortable around that group of people. They feel like people that are familiar to me or the type of people that I usually like. So it all makes sense. This is what every video topic goes back to. We are all so desperate for community, and we're trying to find any sort of avenues that can bring us closer to that. But it sucks because often the avenues are you have to buy more things. And then maybe. So continuing on, last summer, again, when I was initially working on this video, I decided to hire a stylist that I had seen on TikTok. And I thought, okay, this is it. We're bringing in the professionals, baby. We're going to get this sorted out. And that stylist is the Peyton Project. Peyton Dale. First of all, I just love Peyton's style. It's not exactly the type of style that I see myself in, but like when I see her, I'm like, she's cool. I love the way she dresses. She has that consistent aesthetic that I desire. And of course, I actually love the points she makes about personal style and how to figure it out.
The two experiences that you will have when discovering your personal style. You have feeling, mental feeling, like how you feel in your brain. Then you also have feeling of the clothes on your body. Then there's perception. Do you feel like you are being perceived in a way that is accurate? So a lot of people conflict these two parts of themselves, the perception and the feeling, when you factor in other people that can also impact this. And really good personal style is where you feel good mentally, you feel good physically, and you feel like you're being perceived in a way that's accurate, where you don't care if other people would rather you wear something else.
So anyway, I bought the styling package with Peyton and initially planned on actually doing it in a quick succession. I did my first call or two, and then something came up, and now I'm pregnant, and the next step of my journey is to actually buy items, and now's not a good time to buy my forever wardrobe items, so I will have to wait for that portion. But for the sake of this video, I think talking through my initial call with her is very helpful. I took notes and sadly did not film. I really wish I had filmed my thoughts immediately after. But again, this was from last summer. First point I made was that I feel disconnected from my sense of style because I used to wear a lot more funky, just like weird little pieces. I was a big thrifter in high school. I used to buy random things from eBay. I loved vintage, and I took a lot of joy out of that. I loved wearing things that were a little wacky. I never felt like it was a costume or anything. I was just like, I like a little weirdness. But these days, and for the past few years, my clothes have just felt so painfully functional. I feel like I just look uninteresting. And you know what's ironic about filming this video today? None of this represents my personal style. What I'm wearing today, again, is what I just so happened to have with me, and my nails are just painted a color. You know, I don't feel like I'm representing my personal style or my tastes at all. And that's how I felt for a long time. Anyway, the second point that I made on my call with Peyton was that in terms of my online appearance, I feel like a level of self-consciousness in terms of like the video essay commentary sphere, because there are so many video essayists with these flashy, beautiful, you know, costuming and designs, and like, you know, they just have really great aesthetics. Hello. And I feel like in comparison, my typical videos are very normie, not interesting. And, you know, set design is not my strong suit, and I'm fine with that. But even just like, again, the basic costuming, whatever shirt I decide to wear, or how I do my makeup or my nails, or like put a little bit of jewelry on, like I feel like especially recently I have really been slacking in this area, and I think it does make a little bit of a difference. Selfishly, I'm like, it could be a little engagement boost, you know, if you're wearing something cute or you look really nice, people will give you more comments. So I'm like, it's for work. I have to figure my stuff out for work. And number 3, I made the point that I think tattoos and bangs are my cool signifiers. When I see a girl with bangs, I'm like, you're cool. Automatically. Tattoos, cool. Bangs and tattoos, very cool. And when I think about what I think I should look like, this comes up a lot. But my big point in discussing this with Peyton was that I feel like bangs and tattoos are the difference between me looking like a Mormon mommy vlogger, which is a big running joke, but honestly, you look at my newly review videos on my vlog channel, check those out, please. And a lot of the things I'm drawn to are like long or like midi dresses and cutesy little things, which again, you would see on a Mormon mommy. And now that I am a mommy, I guess, okay, got me there. But there's a certain aesthetic, and again, it's associated with a little bit more of a conservative religious group of influencers, and that's not me, and that's not the image that I want to be giving off, online or offline. But you put the Mormon mommy vlogger dresses plus bangs and a couple of tattoos, and oh, suddenly people are like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here.
Just impeccable taste and style to begin with, but I can't deny that when the arms are out and there's that sleeveless outfit, I'm looking at it like, damn. When I see someone styling a more Little House on the Prairie, like I'm best dressed on the Oregon Trail adjacent kind of outfit, and if I were to wear this without tattoos, it's like, oh, am I Amish? You know, but with the tattoos, it's like, no, I'm just a fashion girl. This is intentional.
Again, there are so many signifiers. There are signs. You want to be perceived to be in the correct in-group and not in the wrong one. Come on. Interestingly, now there's also been discourse recently about, like, some people say they kind of regret their tattoos because they think they can't have the clean girl look with tattoos. And first of all, I disagree, and many others do as well. Like, we think it is possible to do clean girl kind of style with tattoos. But anyway, that's where it starts to get complicated when you're looking at tattoos relationships with your style as it changes, because obviously tattoos are permanent and our personal style can change. So I guess me not having tattoos yet is letting me err on the side of caution. I'm just avoiding it entirely. I'm missing out on the sweet, sweet satisfaction of being tatted. But I don't yet have any of the regret that might come with, oh, I did this permanent thing and maybe I don't love it as much anymore. I don't know. But anyway, I had to create a little bit of a Pinterest board with Peyton, and so I passed that along to Sheriden, and I asked her if she thought my Pinterest board was an accurate representation of my style, and she's like, no. She's like, you don't wear like any of this. And I was like, oh, that's true. Versus Sheridan's board does look pretty accurate to what she wears and the sort of items that she buys. So hers seemed a little bit true to herself. Mine was more aspirational, and this is a big part of personal style as well. The sort of style I aspire toward, what I feel drawn to, what I feel like feels like me, but how can it feel like me if it's not me yet? Does it mean that the real me hasn't presented itself to the world? And if I do take up this aesthetic, then I will be the real me? Am I losing it? But yeah, clearly there's this gap between what I aspire toward and what I actually have bought and what I wear. And that's interesting. Why is there a gap? Many reasons. This is where you circle back to the point of, oh, if I just buy a few more things, then I will be complete. And it's like, that's not true either. Not necessarily. I think for me in recent years, my problem has been I've been buying a lot of like basics and neutrals because I didn't have many basics before, so I needed some. And then also I thrift a lot. I buy things secondhand, and often those things are good, but not great. They're not bangers. They're not the pieces that like make me feel like me. So I do think part of that solution is shopping more intentionally. I should wait, I should save my money, and based on my interests and my Pinterest, I should probably be investing in some nice quality vintage pieces because there are certain decades that I really love, and maybe I'll cut bangs and maybe I'll get a couple of tattoos, and then I'll feel complete because my personal style journey will be over, because we definitely don't continue to evolve as people. Finding your personal style is definitely climbing a mountain, and there's nowhere to go from there, right? And lastly, we finally get to the how do you create personal style section, where I have compiled some of my favorite little bits of advice as I've been researching this. First of all, again, going back to the idea of getting inspired, but not trying to copy things.
Create a Pinterest board and then try to find the thesis. Like, the thesis of this Pinterest board is oversized sweaters, big skirts, ballet flats, comfortable jeans. This outfit I feel like is a great example of having the same vibe as the Pinterest board. So not recreating an outfit, but more recreating a vibe of an outfit.
I truly think if you want to develop personal style, stop asking influencers where they got things. Stop clicking links in bio. Stop accusing influencers of gatekeeping. Work on your query development. described the color of the sweater, the pattern of the sweater, the fabric content of the sweater. I'm practicing being able to describe what I like. And I now have the option of like, oh, maybe I like the Marnie sweater more than the Brain Dead sweater. This is a very librarian answer to a very superficial problem of like developing a personal style. But I earnestly think everyone should practice this.
Secondly, finding personal style simply takes time. It takes a lifetime of experiences and curating, collecting, keeping sentimental pieces for you to kind of gather who you are as a person and therefore the reflection of yourself via personal style. And number 3, Lizzie McGuire, you are an outfit repeater, and for that, we love you.
Love repetition. I love putting my clothes to work. I believe that the best wardrobes are uniforms, where the same pieces work in circularity, just applied in different ways.
Perhaps the key to personal style is not buying new things, but rather actually wearing what we already have.
If you want to glow up, save money, get more in touch with your personal style, I challenge you to the 75 Hard Style Challenge. Get dressed every single day for 75 days straight and document all of your looks. Don't buy anything new. Point is to really get creative and rely on your own brain and your own closet for inspiration.
Wearing the pieces that you've already bought will at the very least help you sort out what truly fits, what feels nice, what you enjoy, and for the pieces that you love, wear them to death.
I've had my tabbies for 3+ years, and this is what they look like. My tabbies look like this because I fucking love them. And I think this is what gripes me so much about social media, is that we are never shown clothing that is beat to hell anymore, because people don't love their clothes anymore. Clothing should be beat up. Clothing should be ruined and destroyed, because that's how you get a good wear out of them. We should not be buying new shit every season and throwing it away.
And what number 4? Find the you pieces. You know, like people always say, oh, if you were a cartoon character, what would you wear? Or if your friends were gonna draw you in your uniform, what pieces would you be wearing? I think there's something so beautiful about just noticing, oh, I'm always wearing those pants. Those are my shoes. And this really helps you find the common threads, the pieces, the styles that you enjoy. Like I found this creator on TikTok who has a collection of these Betsy Johnson dresses. And it doesn't even have to be like super rare or super expensive pieces, but just things that you love so much that you want to put in the work to have more of them around you so that you can appreciate them. Personally, when I look at my most worn or most loved pieces or past eras of style that I've gone through, the common threads are like, I love turtlenecks, as we know. I think turtlenecks are a part of my personal style. I would go as far as to say that. Other common themes in my style is like, I love denim, I love jeans. You're not really gonna catch me in athleisure, except right now, because again, pregnancy, nothing fits. Jeans are part of my personal style. Dare I say, chunky shoes. I love a chunky loafer, a chunky boot. These aren't super specific or rare, but like when it comes to what I'm into, what I reach for, what I enjoy the most, those are some things that come up for sure. And here's a quote from Haley Nauman. Fashion can tell a compelling story about a person or an era, but I think it's best understood as supplemental to the essence of either. By framing personal style as an expression of our truest selves, we overestimate clothes and underestimate people. I know I just made an entire video about personal style, but I do think that that's an important component to remember as well. As fun and interesting as it can be to mess around with, try to understand, experiment, it's a type of expression, but it's not the end all be all. Okay, that is all. I'm out of breath. Also, not to like disclose my own medical information, but I am currently anemic. Pregnancy things. I'm working on it. I'm working on it with my doctor. I'm supplementing iron. But can I just tell you, like, I can't explain how much I'm craving ice right now. This is the only time I've wished I've owned one of those nugget ice makers. Oh my God. So anyway, send me good thoughts and iron. Hopefully it gets like absorbed into my body well. So boring. Why am I telling you this? That's what's up with me. And once again, thank you so much to Parade for sponsoring today's video. Again, you can click the link in the description and use my code FERG50 to get 50% off site-wide. And that is all. Stay tuned for future internet analysis videos. If you haven't seen my last videos, I've talked about home renovations. I've talked about clean talk and the morality of messiness. Please check those out. Okay, thanks. Bye.